All right. Welcome in to a very, very interesting Friday show we have for you here today. What a game last night in Amalie Arena. Oh, my. The emotional ups and downs of last night's game. That's why we watch sports, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we watch sports. And nobody, and I mean nobody, bounces back like the Tampa Bay Lightning. Multiple times. Backs against the wall, game 6, facing elimination, down 3-2, third period. They get to 5-on-3. And then in an overtime where they, I think, had 2 shots in the first 15 minutes, Braden Point gets the game winner, and the Lightning head back to Toronto, just like we said they would. Well, I did kind of call for a blowout. That was anything but a blowout last night. But they did win. And now we're going back to Toronto for Game 7. Welcome to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. And you can find him at PalermoPA.com. Nick Geddes from Outkick.com. Wow. I'm still buzzing a little bit from last night. That building was absolutely on fire.
Yeah, I said that I wanted some more anxiety in my playoff hockey.
Well, you got it.
I guess I got my full dose of it yesterday. And maybe I don't want to feel that feeling anymore. Maybe I don't, because that was stressful. I couldn't even sit back. I was sitting up the entire time. After the game, it's like I needed a cigarette, I think. After Braden Point, literally, this is how out of shape I am. And Kasey loved this line I gave her yesterday. After Braden Point scored, I immediately popped up and I did like a bunch of like whatever with my arms across the house. And I came back and I'm like, I think I tore my rotator cuff. Like I almost popped it out of the socket because these arms don't move much.
And you're winded.
I was winded. It was bad. It was bad, but it was worth it at the same time.
Well, I think I was sitting there watching it with Paul Kennedy and Dave Andrechuk right there on the Bally set. And, we're watching Vasi make save after save after save after save in that overtime period. He made, I would say, what? In fact, I think I just asked Dave, I said, what do you think? 4 or 5 grade A saves for Vasi in the OT? He's like, oh, yeah, easy. And at that point, Hagel came down picks up the puck, came down the boards, and then fed it over to Killorn. Shot on net. Finally, I think that was their 5th shot of the overtime. They didn't do much in OT. I thought Toronto held most of the play, but it's the goal that counts. And let's relive that now, shall we? Let's do that. Courtesy of Bally Sports Sun. Here's the game winner.
Hagel. Here comes Hagel in a broken play out in front. Chance saved by Campbell. Freeman. They score! The Lightning have won it in overtime, and we're going to Game 7.
Oh, this pandemonium, man. That place was just nuts. A scrum over by the far wall. Brian Engblom hanging out right there. Great call by Dave Randolph, by the way. Great call.
And I didn't play the radio one, by the way, but I think Dave almost, I don't know if he almost passed out on his call, if you could imagine.
Yeah.
It was great.
That was great. Great call right there. I haven't heard Michigan's call yet, but I can only imagine.
You can only imagine.
Yeah, we'll see if we can find that for you as well. Man, what a moment. And the crowd just explodes. I did one of those same things you did, just like Tiger Woods, like yes. And I posted something on my Twitter. I love that point of the game, especially above 128, because there were a bunch of Toronto fans right below us, and they were talking smack. I mean, one guy kept standing up doing you guys are going down, like, slitting of the throat gesture. And yeah, I got a little video of him walking out as well. Like, see you later, Toronto fans.
He gave you the Undertaker slit throat gesture?
Yes.
And they didn't even follow through on that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little bit embarrassing.
That's not living the gimmick.
No, he was trying to be good-natured about it. He was just, not a bad Toronto fan. If you could be good-natured about it, he was kind of good-natured about it. He was smiling. He's like, "You guys are going down."
You want to know the best one? They had a camera panned in on the thousands of people in the Toronto streets last night.
Oh yeah, I reposted that.
Did you see the Lightning fan?
Yeah.
Immediately, no celebration. He's like, all right, I got to take this thing off before I get out of here.
That was a moment of clarity for that young man. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's you just see the depression on the faces of those people. They're just waiting to explode to finally win a series. They've lost 9 in a row now.
They are now 1-9.
No, 0-9.
0-9.
0-9.
0-9, I think, when leading in a series since 2017.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe 1-9 when leading in the series, but in terms
1-9, and that's
those 0-9 in terms of closeout games. I mean, they lost 3 to the Bruins, 3 to the Canadians. I mean, that's just brutal. And now they got to go back and talk to all the media there about that. No, they're not going to like that at all. But Braden Point was, he has. You said that's his first 5-on-5 goal since April 1st.
Since April 1st, yeah.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it when I heard it, but now that I hear it, you remember Braden Point was kind of snake bitten there in the last part of the season.
Yeah,
and
he was.
I think he had a couple power play goals, and that was it.
Yeah. We're going to go through the whole thing chronologically. Kasey Hudson's going to join us. She covers the Bolts and the Bucs. We'll talk about the Bucs minicamp coming up. Of course, the Bucs schedule is out. We'll talk about that here in just a second in our first segment as well. Before we get into all the lightning sound that we're going to give you, we'll talk with a little NBA as well and some of the other series. Which we got 3 Game 7s on Saturday night, bro. I cannot remember that ever. I think it's the first time it's ever happened. 3 Game 7s.
I tell you what, NBA, NHL playoffs have not disappointed.
No,
every series is going deep. Every single series.
Yeah. Obviously the Preds are out quickly.
Yeah.
The Avs are sitting on their ass. But we got the Bruins win last night 5-2.
Yep.
Marchand with a goal and an assist. So they're going back to Carolina.
Yep.
That place is going to be nuts.
Edmonton's going to be nuts too.
Edmonton's going to be nuts. I don't know if you watched the end of the Edmonton game, but Connor McDavid, I'll tell you what, that guy, the look on his face, that is one determined mofo.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit. I was like, he was like, yeah, F you people, we're going back to Edmonton. There's so much. That's what I love about the Stanley Cup playoffs. There's so much emotion. I mean, it really, really, it means something to them. And then you watch, James Harden take no shots in the second half or 0 for 2 in the second half, or whatever the hell it was. He didn't even try to win the game last night.
No, I'll have plenty.
Stephen A was on this morning literally saying that he quit. He wasn't even trying to win.
Embiid said he's not the Houston Harden anymore.
No.
He said it himself.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll have more thoughts on that later because I got some stuff for the Sixers today.
But it just means so much more for these hockey players. It's just, it's so it's amazing how much emotion goes into it. And the fans were, I thought, honestly, if I'm going to be honest with my fans out here, when it got to 3-2, those 2 fast goals, the last 35 seconds of the second period, there was just, everybody I was walking around, everybody's like, oh, we're done. I'm getting texts. We're done. I'm like, what's wrong with you people? And it was almost fatalistic. And, I'm not going to call out all the fan base, but that was, a little bit of, come on, guys.
They're dramatic. Come on.
Now. This is the Tampa Bay Lightning. Nobody, and I mean nobody, bounces back like the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah. And you said it to me today that you just feel like Toronto is the better team, even though the Lightning have somehow made this a 7-game series.
Right.
And it's like, in some respects, I agree with that because the second period, Toronto has dominated that all series long. The overtime session, I don't think was frankly even close. They couldn't even play Kucherov or Stamkos on the ice because the Lightning were having to play a lot of chip and chase and a lot of the boards.
Because they kept throwing Matthews and Marner over the boards, and they were going to keep Cirelli and Killorn and Point on them as much as they possibly could.
Yeah, I think
Cooch, I got to be honest with you. I was watching Cooch all last night. Wow. Until he scored that 5-on-3 goal, he wasn't doing much. He was not good. And in the defensive zone, he was absolutely checked out.
I think he led the team at 6 shots. I thought he was more engaged offensively, to be honest. But defensively, in the defensive zone, I'm just looking at him sometimes. And it was when Matthews and Marner were on the ice, by the way. And I'm looking for him to just do something. And he's just kind of nonchalantly skating around, like nowhere near the puck, hanging out near the blue line like he wants to get going. You can't say he's been at his best, but last night in that moment in the power play where I thought they were passing entirely too much on that power play, the 5-on-3, which I don't understand why they're hell bent on using the entire time to score on a 5-on-3 when you should just treat it like a 2-minute.
Yeah.
Just a regular 5-on-4. But he shoots that puck, and I don't know how he got that one in. I still don't. I keep watching it over and over. The precision on the shot that he scored there to make it 3-3.
Yeah. He I don't know. I watched him a lot, and he just seemed a little indifferent last night, especially defensively. So I don't know. Look, he got the big goal in that 5-on-3, which of course the Toronto fans are up in arms about. They don't feel like it was worthy. And in a 5-on-3, you want to make sure that it's a penalty. And the one on Hedman, I don't know. If it were the other way around, would you be pissed?
Here's what I want to know. If somebody can present me with the hockey rule book, what the actual high sticking, what's the blurb under high sticking? Because last time I just thought as long as the stick hits the face, no matter how egregious it is,
right?
I thought it's a call.
It's a high stick.
I thought it's a high stick. And in that moment, Kerfoot's trying to be like a little gnat right there on top of Hedman. I know Hedman's a big guy, and that forces him to get maybe a little wonky with the stick. But you gotta keep it on the ice in the situation, in my opinion.
You do.
You're already on the penalty kill. And if you want to argue about penalty, you can argue about that one.
Yeah.
Because clearly it hit foot in the shoulder. You could also make the argument in times like that, you don't take any chances. Don't put yourself in that situation to get the refs, because the refs are inconsistent this series.
And it's like what I asked Cooper last night after the game is, about how much of an emphasis was it to stay out of the box, and he's like, well, the team that's taken the less penalties has won every game this series.
There you go.
And there you go. And they were definitely cognizant of that last night. They were much more disciplined.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's like refs, we can complain about refs, but I don't like blaming refs for losses. I don't, and I don't understand why Toronto's doing that today. They found their crutch. Yeah. It's the officiating. For some reason, it's Gary Bettman. I saw this one a lot. Gary Bettman is so determined to make hockey work in Florida that he has to make it. I mean, my goodness, man. My goodness, man. You think Gary Bettman would rather see the Lightning win over Toronto? Really? No. Please, don't even start. Don't even start.
Come on.
That's laughable. But this is
so stupid.
This reeks.
By the way, it's already working in Florida.
Exactly.
Sorry, we're good here.
This reeks of a fan base that are losers.
Yeah.
And a franchise that are losers.
Yeah.
That's what losers do. You worry about refs and calls rather than winning games. You were the better team last night. And guess what? You didn't win the game.
You didn't win the game.
Worry about your own team.
Yeah. They had plenty of opportunities in overtime. Who was it that missed an open net? That Sergachev got over there just in time for defensively. Although I don't think Sergey had the best game in the world.
No, we had a Sergachev special a couple times.
Last night. Yeah, I get a lot of those. I don't think Sergachev's going to be here next year. I'm like,
no. I took a look at the contract and I'm like, let's find a taker.
Yeah,
let's find a taker, please.
Yeah, he's just
he's going backwards. I think.
Although I just again with the Russian players, I got to give him a little bit of a waiver at this time. I mean, although this is not the first time we've seen him turn over the puck in alarming ways and maybe not get back when he probably should.
No, but the one Russian who came to play was Vasilevsky.
Yes, he did. Although I thought I'm trying to think of the goals. The first one that I think they gave the Spezza, Tavares, I guess eventually was credited for. That's a save he normally makes. The first one with Austin Matthews is a double deflection. That is what it is. The second one was, then we're going to go through all the goals with the calls here in a little bit. But no, I thought Vasi was okay, but I thought he was spectacular in the overtime.
Spectacular.
He saved our bacon probably 4 or 5 times in the overtime. We don't even get close to point scoring without him. He made 4 or 5 really grade A saves in that overtime, which I thought Toronto controlled most of the way.
Yeah,
no doubt. All right, before we get to all the lightning sound, we're going to get to it here in a second. I wanted to hit the Bucs schedule as well. Wow, what a start. What a start to the schedule. I'm not saying it's possible to go 0-4, but I'm saying it's possible. I mean, these are all tough games. I mean, this is ridiculously tough schedule. You start at Dallas on Sunday Night Football. 100,000 people in that arena. I know Dallas. I think Dallas has taken a couple of steps back in terms of their personnel, but you never know how it all comes together for them. Dak coming off last year's injury was or 2 years ago injury, was his first year back. I think he'll be better second year back, but he's got to get used to some new weapons, blah, 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 blah. But that's a tough game. They're 2-point favorites, I think, in this game. Already been installed as 2.5-point favorites.
Wow.
Tough game. Then at New Orleans, which of course we all know, they've swept us the last couple of regular seasons. Last 3 regular seasons? 2 at least.
2.
Yeah, 2 at least. I think they've won the last 5 regular season games. That's going to be brutally tough, September 18th. Then they got Green Bay in the home opener. And that is what, a 4:00 game, right? 4:30 game, I believe. Or is that a night game?
Which one are you talking about?
Green Bay.
Green Bay is 4:25.
4:25, yeah. With Aaron Rodgers. So that's just going to be a phenomenal game. And no 1:00 games until what?
It's just funny. The second we started talking about the schedule, I look over the TV and they're asking the same question you are right now.
Good Buccaneers start next season 0-4. Yes, they are. And I know Booger's a big on the Saints challenging the Bucs, and I agree. I mean, everybody's just handing the Bucs the NFC South. I'm like, I don't know what the hell are you talking about. New Orleans is still a very good football team. I mean, I know they lost Sean Payton, their primary play caller, but they've added some nice pieces as well. Chris Olave to go with Michael Thomas, who's coming back. Jameis was 4-1. He was 4-1 with 14 touchdowns, 3 picks. Before he got hurt.
Yeah, it was something like
he was playing really well. He's playing really well. And I think they fully expect him to start the season coming off the ACL. So we'll see. The Bucs schedule, by the way, is the fourth most difficult schedule in the league. It features 5 primetime games, maybe more when they flex them out at the end of the year. So then it's Green Bay at home, then Kansas City on Sunday Night Football. That's going to be an incredible rematch, October 2nd. Here comes Patrick Mahomes. Then they got Atlanta at home. So that's, 3 division winners from last year and the Saints to start your that's your first quarter. Woo! Thank you, schedule makers.
Yeah, not easy. Not easy
Well,
at all.
and the thing is, there's very few breathers on this schedule.
Well, the breather is after the first 4 games, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The breather is you're going to get 2 rookies back to back. Mariota in there, Sam Darnold, Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
That's kind of where your
Atlanta,
breather comes.
Pittsburgh, Carolina. Yeah, you got Kenny Pickett at Pittsburgh, but still that defense never easy. Atlanta, divisional game at Carolina. Who knows who's going to be quarterback? And then you got Baltimore at home. And I think that's Thursday Night Football, right?
Yes.
Amazon Prime. And then the LA Rams, November 6th, are here. That's, tremendous. This home schedule is just ridiculous. Green Bay, Kansas City, Atlanta, the Rams. Then we got Seattle in Munich on November 13th. And then the bye comes after that. Then at Cleveland. Yeah, this is a very, there's a couple of spots in here where you can exhale a little bit, but still it's brutal every week. It's the NFL.
Yeah.
Then at Cleveland, November 27th, Thanksgiving weekend. That's your first and only, I think, cold weather game that could be possible, right? Could be very cold and snowy in Cleveland on November 27th but Deshaun Watson will certainly be back by then.
Yes.
So if you'd hope to have Cleveland early in the season to get Baker Mayfield or whoever their other quarterback's going to be, that's not happening. So probably Deshaun Watson, we'll see then that game. Then you're at New Orleans on Monday Night Football. Then at San Francisco. So in terms of the West Coast travels, not too bad. You go to Germany, then you have the week off, then you're at Cleveland, then you got New Orleans at home, then you go out west to San Francisco, then back home against Cincinnati, December 18th, right before Christmas. That's going to be amazing. Then at Arizona, Christmas night, right? That's going to be the night game, Sunday Night Football. I'm sure the Bucs aren't thrilled with that one in terms of their family situation, but it is what it is. And then Carolina at home, January 1st, which begs the question, what the hell's going on with the formerly known as the Outback Bowl?
It's a great question.
Yeah. So January 1st is an NFL Sunday. I think they typically move the January 1st games to January 2nd because Monday will be the off day. Or will they do them on the 30th.
They'll figure it out, but we know darn well the Bucs are getting priority. They'll be playing that game at probably 1 o'clock January 1st.
Yeah, they're not, but I think they'll probably slide those other games since they're on NFL Sunday, and then at Atlanta to finish the season. So strength of schedule is 4th in the league. But I'm always concerned about, I said this yesterday, I'm concerned about cold weather games. We got maybe one, so no big deal. And then the juxtaposition of going west and then having, a lot of those trips like we did in 2019. So I just think in terms of travel, it's not bad. It's not a bad schedule at all. I think, by the way, Pittsburgh never leaves the Eastern time zone. How about that one?
You want to know another crazier one? Arizona plays inside 13 times out of their 17 games.
Wow. That's a lot.
13 times.
Yeah.
So buy your stock. And if you're fantasy football players out there, buy your stock in Arizona's offense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. And Kyler Murray probably loves playing inside, I would think. So here's some takeaways. Bucs schedule is beyond brutal. This is from CBS Sports, I believe. It's beyond brutal, featuring 7 of 11 non-divisional opponents who reached the postseason last year, including both Super Bowl teams in the Rams and Bengals. What's particularly daunting is the way they opened the season at Dallas, then at New Orleans, before hosting the Packers and then the Chiefs. The Bucs could be looking at 0-4 start if things don't go well. They'll also be playing on Christmas Day for the first time in franchise history and in Germany for the first time in NFL history. So interesting there. Revenge games against the Rams, obviously, after the NFC playoff game. And Vegas, the odds makers have the Bucs win total at 11.5. Wow. I usually go over on the Bucs and have been successful. I might have to go under on this one. I'd have a hard time betting the over at 11.5. You?
Betting the over 11.5
wins.
Well, I said yesterday.
So they have to finish 12-5. Only 5 losses on that schedule. No.
Well, I mean, I told you yesterday you could put these games in wherever you want them. 17-0. 17-0.
No. I think 11. I think 11, 10, 11 wins. Get you in the playoffs. Might win you the NFC South. 12 wins is going to be difficult. 13 wins, no way. Not with this schedule, no way. I mean, I love the Bucs. I love everything they've done, but this is the NFL. And with that schedule, no. I
get it, but what teams on the schedule are the Bucs not a better team than?
I mean, it's not necessarily their better team. It's just they're even. I would say
things are going to happen.
I would say they're a little bit better than Dallas, but you're playing at home, season opener. In that stadium, there's a lot of things can happen in a football game. Then, the Chiefs is a toss-up. Let's just be honest. I know they lost Tyreek Hill, but they still got Patrick Mahomes and some pretty damn good players on that defense. They've added some nice pieces. I mean, the Packers, it's Aaron Rodgers, but without Devontae Adams, I get it. But they'll, that's a good football team.
The Packers, for whatever reason, just don't strike fear into me anymore. I've gotten over that hurdle mentally with the Packers now. Yeah. Because, I mean, is that game at home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers can't play in the state of Florida.
That's true. That is an actual fact.
3-5 in his career in the state of Florida.
Yeah, that is an actual fact. All right, so that's the Bucs schedule. If you want to comment on that, at FanStream JP, at the JP Peterson Show, at Nick Geddes News, we'll get your comments on that. All right, so back to the Lightning. We want to play some sound here. So what do you got next? What do you want to throw at me? You got the Palat goal to start things off.
Yeah, we got our goals here. We can go in any order you'd like.
Yeah, let's start with the Palat goal that got things going, because I thought the Lightning came out pretty good. It was kind of even until they get this turnover and Palat puts it in the back of the net. 4-on-4 hockey went our way this time.
Palat is shoots, scores! Andre Palat, top shelf, 1-0 Lightning.
That got the crowd going too, because the crowd was a little subdued until this point.
The last 2 years in the playoffs, a huge reason the Lightning have 2 straight Stanley Cups. A turnover here in the neutral zone, and Palat just in really good positioning. But he doesn't try to beat anybody. He just pulls the trigger. I love this. Get those shots. Campbell has been pulled in the series. Remember, last time in here, he didn't last the entire game. He allowed 5 goals. That was a really bad play by Kerfoot, who thought he had somebody behind him. And that's the perfect shot by Andre Palat. And his favorite song playing again.
I've had a more than one Lightning fan reach out to me and go, "We got to get rid of Sweet Caroline, man."
Why?
They don't like it. It's too Boston-y.
I don't care. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I think it's trolling Boston.
I think it's trolling too. And if these two teams meet in the next series, I need like 10 Palat goals.
Yeah,
like every home game. Seriously,
yeah. I know there's some fans that don't like it though. I'm just saying.
Well, you said the Lightning crowd was a little subdued. What better way to get you going than an Andre Palat goal?
They got it going after that, for sure.
And watching that goal, by the way, I looked at Campbell's reaction. I think Palat kind of shocked him by going low.
Yeah.
I think he thought he was going high. The way he didn't even move his pad at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Because I know they've been shooting high on him because that's supposedly his vulnerability. And I just like the fact that Palat got that on net. I thought the Lightning were very timid last night in their opportunities to shoot the puck. They just did not get pucks on net when they had opportunities. You notice Toronto, every time they got a shooting lane, they shoot the puck. The Lightning, again, just, I see too many times they come down the wing and they got either a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-2, and they don't force the action. They just drive it around the net looking for that perfect pass and that perfect angle. And sometimes you just got to get the freaking thing on net.
I recall one play that stuck out, and I think Imblom pointed it out too, where Ross Colton was coming down the right side on a 3-on-2.
Yep.
And he looked like he had an angle to shoot.
Yes, he did.
And he passed it all the way across the offensive zone to Brandon Hagel. By the time Hagel gets the puck, he's already down low by the net,
right
in the corner. So it's already over. It's done. And you got to shoot those pucks.
Yeah. And I thought Hagel had some opportunities he did not cash in on.
Oh, man. The one.
Yeah. I mean, he missed the entire freaking net.
It wasn't even close. He put it right back across the entire crease.
Yeah, he seems to have a little bit of a nervous stick right now in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I give him credit because his head was down completely on the bench for about 10 seconds after, and John Cooper had enough confidence to keep putting that line out there.
Yeah.
And who, by the way, put the one in net when Point scored? Brandon Hagel.
Yeah.
That's how the playoffs work. When you miss a golden opportunity, it finds you eventually.
Yeah, and he got back into it. All right, and the Cirelli goal. Oh, my goodness. This was one. We were doing the top 10 first-round moments in Lightning history in the intermission, and this was part of my highlight package before we did that. So I'm like, let's slide this one right into first-round Lightning history. This is one of the best goals you'll ever see.
Point of this second period.
Short-handed, by the way.
By Cirelli. Cirelli trying to race away. Anthony Cirelli shoots. He's gone. What a goal by Anthony Cirelli.
Wow. Spinorama. And to get leverage.
By Anthony Cirelli. He turns the puck over here, but watch him protect. He knows he can't quite make it. He has to make a decision by just past the top of the circle. That's where he turned the puck over, but he realizes Giordano is going to beat him on the angle, and he's not going to be able to get there. So Giordano is empty. The tank is empty. So he uses that leverage. It's the ability at super high speed to turn around, swivel, put the puck on the toe of your blade, and fling it at the net. The goaltender has no idea where the release point is. Just some brilliant stuff by Cirelli, and it started by the turnover and the steal at his own blue line.
Wow. A great explanation there from Brian Engblom, Bally Sports Sun. Great call, Dave Randorf. What a goal, man. What a goal. Put the Lightning up 2-0. And then they promptly give it up with 2 goals in 35 seconds. But then in the third, they get a 5-on-3, somewhat controversial. And I think everybody's like, come on. Well, you get they seem so lackadaisical on these 5-on-3s, like they have 10 minutes to score.
Well, like literally before this goal the Cooch goal we're about to play here, Stamkos literally tried to do one of those cross ice passes again back to Kucherov.
Yeah. And
they had 2 Toronto guys literally on their knees standing.
Yeah.
And I was listening to radio call at the time, and Phil's like, "What in the hell are you doing?" is what he said.
Yeah.
I mean, just why?
Yeah. Just move the puck on the outside because you get your shot. And then, but Kucherov got out front, and great screen in front by Cirelli and a great jump. Because I think if he doesn't jump, it might hit his skate. So here's the call.
Settles it down. Kucherov waits, shoots, scores! Nikita Kucherov has tied this game.
That's no number one bullshit.
Nikita Kucherov with a tremendous shot there. Presence in front of the net, always important. You always have to have screenshots. Toronto is just arguing like crazy. Jason Spezza went right to the referees after this. I'm not quite sure what this is all about. But they are just ferocious with the officials here.
I don't know what that was about either.
I think they were still just letting the refs have it because they didn't feel like they should be on the penalty kill to begin with.
Yeah,
and you could see it by Marner's reaction right after they scored. But like I said in the opening, that's what losers do, JP.
Yeah, complain about the officiating. So the Lightning go on to win this one 4-3 in overtime, setting up a big Game 7 Saturday night in Toronto. Watch party will be at Armature Works. The official watch party, there will be watch parties all over Tampa Bay, and we'll be out in full force on Saturday night. It's going to be fun. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Kasey Hudson is waiting in the bullpen. We'll bring her on here in just a second. Quick break, 2-minute break. And we will chat with her about the Bolts. She covers the Bolts and the Bucs. Bucs with the schedule release and a little rookie minicamp coming up this weekend. So we'll chat with Kasey Hudson next. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can get more information at PalermoPA.com. Right now, we want to bring in our good friend, Kasey Hudson, covers the Bolts and also covers the Bucs for Pewter Report. Good morning, Kasey. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Well, I'm a lot better that they pulled things off last night. That's for sure.
Digging that lightning hat. Very nice. The black hat. Very nice.
Oh, yeah. Thought I'd have some matching gear to celebrate the boys. That's for sure.
I guess we won't be able to wear our Saturday night black jerseys up in Toronto, though, right?
Nah.
I don't think
I
they'll
wish they
allow
could.
that. Yeah,
It'd be nice to get a good color distinction too, because the jerseys are stressing me out. I just need them to get past this series already.
It always does. Well, the worst part about that for me is I can't tell the enemy in the crowd.
Right.
Because you got to look closer. It's like, is that a Lightning fan or a Leaf fan? And like, oh, it's a Maple Leaf. Shut up.
Yeah.
So it's really, you can't really. You got to be careful before you. And there were a lot of Leafs fans there last night, and it's one of my favorite things when I'm watching from 128 where the Bally set is, when they have to leave after taking the L. You get the video down right on top of them as they're coming up the stairs with those long faces. And you're like, 5 seconds ago, you were the guy giving the, the slit the throat sign. Now you're not so happy. So get out of here.
Calling it.
Yeah, it was a fun atmosphere. So what was your takeaway from the game last night?
Oh, man. I mean, of course, I think all of us were extremely disappointed that, yet again, they score. They have that somewhat faster start, and then they just kind of let their foot off the gas and allow the other team to completely command the ice. So at first, of course, I was like probably every other fan that was somewhat freaking out and disappointed and couldn't breathe. But the Tampa Bay found a way. It's just how much longer is that going to really pan out for them is the big question mark. But it was an exciting game nonetheless, and it just speaks to what playoff hockey is. I mean, it's been a weird series period, but it added that excitement to it, I guess.
Yeah, it has been a weird series, and I asked Cooper this last night after the game about the importance of staying out of the box, and he's like, "Well, there you go. The team with the less penalties has won every one of these games." And last night, the Maple Leafs were 0 for 1 on the power play. They didn't get a lot of opportunities,
which is extremely helpful because the game where they really kill themselves is when they were getting all power play opportunities and executing on them. And that's the other thing is that it's been kind of touch and go for the Bolts to really execute on special teams. So giving that opportunity to a team that can execute is just going to bury them. So, yeah, that works. Stay out of the penalty box, and you're going to give yourself a leg up to actually, get a W at the end of it.
Yeah, when they gave that first penalty, it was embellishment on Nick Paul. It was bizarre. So they go to 4-on-4, and I'm like, oh, I don't like 4-on-4 hockey. This does not serve us well. And then Palat gets a steal and an unassisted goal. That was obviously huge as well.
Yeah, I think everybody has to really give it up for playoff Pally. He was having a little less momentum throughout the season, started to pick things up towards the end of the regular season, and now all of a sudden it's like the plot that we've all enjoyed watching over at least the past 3 years. So give it up for playoff Pally. He's been very clutch for them. I do like the fact that, yes, Braden Point scored the overtime goal, and he was like one of 2 or 3 franchise players that do it in an elimination round. But I like some of the guys that aren't the faces of the team or the ones talked about the most that have really actually kept the Bolts in this series for the most part.
And what'd you think of that Cirelli goal, the little spinorama shorty? How about that?
I freaked over the Cirelli goal because way before, like right when the game even started, I tweeted, I have a feeling about Cirelli tonight.
Yes, you did.
It's going to be his night. And then all of a sudden, I don't even know I had to hop on the Pewter podcast because of the schedule release. So Lightning is behind me, Pewter is in front of me, and, I'm kind of juggling the masses there. And my phone starts going off. And luckily the guys were raving about it on the podcast, but then it's Cirelli with the shorthanded goal. And I think my favorite part about not only Cirelli, the shorthanded goal, him coming in clutch for his team, there's been a lot of conversation and comparisons about him in comparison to Yanni Gourde, not because they're the same style player, but they both have that hounding, energizer buddy mentality and that strong two-way ability to play. So I think he's really kind of filling that void that the team lost. You can't replace Yanni Gourde, but to get close is amazing. And the touch, the chef's kiss on yesterday's shorthanded goal that's the first shorthanded goal in playoffs since Yanni Gourde. So I just thought that all the connected dots was just brilliant.
Yeah, interesting. Well put. Kasey Hudson joining us here. And so now it's game 7, where, I was supremely confident that the Lightning were going to win last night. I called for a blowout. We didn't get it. Toronto is a very, very good hockey team. There's no doubt about it. I don't want to necessarily say that they're the better hockey team just yet, because it's not just, I think they're the better skating team. I think they're tilting the ice their way, but there's something to be said about having the best goaltender. And clearly that's Vasilevsky, I think. I don't think there's much question on that. And just having this experience, I think it showed last night. And Toronto, for whatever reason, they just can't close the deal. They cannot close the deal, and they're going to be. I think the pressure is all on them. I mean, I asked Pointer this last night after the game. I said, "You guys go up there with kind of a, playing with house money mentality? I mean, you got 2 cups in the bag already. They can't close out games." And he's like, "No, we're not thinking that way."
Yeah,
I think they should be thinking that way, right?
absolutely. But I think they're prone to have those humble responses. You can kind of almost guarantee what the reply is going to be to half of the questions that come about. It's just the hockey jargon, right? So I agree, though. I think that especially because the 2 cups that they won, just look at the seasons that they won in. 52 game season where you're playing back-to-back games of hockey, that's exhausting. So they won during one of the most taxing, commanding seasons that you could really ask for in such a physical sport. So of course, I mean, if it were me, in the back of my mind, I'm like, if we could do that, then there's a way for us to close them out here. And it's a team that just has a tendency to choke. The pressure is really on. All of Canada at this point is really rallying behind them to finally, get back in there, get past this series. So you're not just letting down your teammates, you're letting down an entire country at this point. And I would freak out a little bit. So I think the biggest thing that I've noticed too is that while everyone's really nervous about, can they go back to Toronto and get the job done? The last 3 games, they've really had the start that everybody's looking for. Yeah. It's making sure that they can find a way to do that 60 minutes of hockey versus, 20 minutes or 40 minutes, or splitting the masses of when they actually decide to show up. They've had the game in the palm of their hands for the last 3 games. They need to just find a way to maintain that.
Kasey Hudson joining us here. So are you picking the Lightning in Game 7? You have to, right?
Yeah. I got to throw it all out there at this point. I'm going to back them up and say that they pull it off. I think Lightning like the pressure. And I had a feeling that last night was going to go into overtime because a team that loves overtime in one capacity or another hadn't had it yet. So I was like, they're due for it. They're due for overtime. Cirelli was due for a goal. There's just so many things that are due. So for the dramatics of it all, they go and close out Toronto in Game 7 and move forward. I think they do it.
Yep, we shall see. All right, Kasey Hudson joining us here, covers the Bolts and the Bucs. So I can only imagine what you guys were doing last night with your Pewter Report podcast, where I know what a crazy Lightning fan Scott Reynolds is, and you as well. And you're trying to pay attention to a schedule when I know you guys got your eye on the hockey game. How the hell did you pull that off?
Oh gosh, a lot of ADD looking is what is how we did it, because we're sitting there talking about one thing with the schedule. The good part is that Pewter fans were in the chat, kind of keep us up to date about the hockey game as well, so we could kind of shift gears and talk about that. But as for our Pewter group chat, Scott was going nuts. You just see a bunch of GIFs and a bunch of lightning bolts, and he has this one. He has his go-tos that he sends in the group chat, and there was 5 of them when the shorthanded goal came about. So I love that Scott's just as much of a fanatic as I am, because the rest of our squad it's so random. They're Pens fans and a lone Bruins fan. So Scott and I like to gang up on the guys. I know, but at least we get a chance to bully them a little bit. So it was, we were jumping around a bit, but at least the fans were on the same page as us to where it wasn't too hectic, but it was pretty hectic.
So as you saw the Bucs schedule and you see these first 4 games, teams often look at seasons in terms of quarters to break it down. Mm-hmm. Boy, that's about as tough a quarter schedule as you could possibly get. At Dallas, at New Orleans, your first home game against the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, and then here comes Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. That's a hell of a start for the Bucs. What do you think?
I'm not fretting over it too much, only because, and I was telling Matt Matera and JC Allen and Josh this last night, I think the Bucs just have this weird tendency to play up to and down to their opponent. They don't really come in commanding the field right away. They kind of feel out the opponent and then just do this thing where they play to whatever level is being delivered to them. So I think starting off on that competitive level is going to really help and take control of the season, because they have one of the most talented rosters in the league, in my opinion. They just don't tend to execute game plan wise the best all the time, in my opinion. So I love the idea of having the Packers in Raymond James Stadium. I threw a fit because one of my favorite draftees was Christian Watson, and I was really hoping that he was going to be a Buccaneer. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to ruin the poor kid, but to at least have him come back to Tampa for a second, it'll be nice to for the Bucs to deliver that humbling experience. But I think them starting off with a harder schedule is going to be good for them. I think it's going to show them, do we have it? Do we not have it? It's going to exploit whatever holes they need to really step up and fix right away, rather than waiting till the middle of the season and be like, oh, we need to fix this. They're going to really step on their P's and Q's in the beginning, nice and early, and I think it's going to help translate throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you look at the schedule, the things that I'm looking at first are, cold weather games, and they're at Cleveland November 27th, so that's a possibility to be a bad weather game, but for the most part, not bad. From a distance standpoint, are there long road trips followed by long road trips? Not really. So I think and of course they got 5 primetime games, so they may get a couple more flexed at the end of the season. That Cincinnati game, I'm sure, is going to probably be moved to primetime. If possible. And then you finish with Carolina and Atlanta, 2 teams that you really should beat. So I think all in all, this worked out about as good as you can. I know it's a tough start, but you got to play those teams anyway. At some point you got to play them. So all in all, I think it went their way. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too, because getting them out of the way, learning what your team has to deliver early in the season, I think can only benefit you, not hurt you. And of all things, the Saints just happen to be this thorn in their side that really challenged them, no matter what, no matter how talented their roster is. I didn't hate the Saints draft picks. I think it's actually going to help them out a lot, where they're not overly relying on these vets that are gassing out anymore. So I think that's going to be a proper challenge for them to go face off with the Saints in Saints territory and really learn something about themselves. If they can overcome that game, I think it's going to be such a momentum swing for them heading into the rest of the season. So I like the challenge.
Yeah, and they're 2.5 points, 2.5 point favorites over Dallas. We already have the odds out. Unbelievable. Dallas, I think, is a little bit of a question mark. You lose Amari Cooper, you lose a lot in your offensive line. They've got a lot to rebuild there. So I don't know how daunting that game will be, but still it's at home. It's the season opener. And Dallas played the Bucs very tough last year. So you got to think about that as well. But I just, I look at that first quarter. If you can go 2-2, I'm happy, honestly. And Vegas has the Bucs at 11-5 win total. You going over or under that one?
A little over. I have them securing 12 wins this season.
12 wins. Okay.
Yes, I have them at 12.
I got to take the under on that. With the 4th hardest schedule, I don't think that means that the Bucs are bad. I just know how tight the NFL is. They're tight games. And with the 4th hardest schedule, and you look on there, I probably see 5 to 6, maybe 7 losses. And I think, 10 wins will still get you maybe the NFC South division title. I just think it's a ridiculously tough schedule overall.
Yeah, I don't agree, because Matt Matera made a great point on last night's pod that every season, regardless of how good or bad the Bucs are, there's that one really weak or awkward team that just happens to sneak a W over them. And This past season, it was Washington. That was just awful to watch.
Yep.
Some of the teams that are just complete dumpster fires just have a tendency to take advantage of the Bucs, and hopefully Cleveland's not one of those teams. Hopefully Dallas isn't one of those teams. But if it comes down to it, there are a handful of teams on here that could just happen to be, the next Washington to overcome them and sneakily win. But if they do the right thing, then I do have high hopes for 12 victories for them. It's game planning for me. I think Todd Bowles wearing the head coach hat is going to really put him in the hot seat to see how versatile he can actually be. And if he can, open the masses a little bit, dive into that game book a bit harder, then again, they have the most talented roster, one of the most talented rosters that in the league.
So, yeah, when you look at it right now, with the schedule is out, we got pretty much the personnel that we're going to go to war with. I think I'm counting on Gronk coming back. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Gronk's coming back. People are getting funny with it now. Some guy tweeted that he ran into Gronk at the station, and he was on his way to Bucs facility, so he's totally coming back. And I'm like, the guy's been going to Bucs facility whenever he's in town. Yeah. Like his brother owns two of his brothers own real estate here. They're not leaving Tampa even when Gronk's done. I think they set up some decent roots here, but I think Gronk's coming back. I think the biggest question mark is Sue, and I think his price tag is probably still a little too high for the Bucs. And at this point, they kind of have to start building, outside of Sue. They have to look forward versus putting too much money into him. Although I respect his athleticism and what he does on that line. So if they're just trying to get another trophy, then sure, if they can afford it, they need to bring Sue back, because the double team that he manages in the center of that line is huge for the Bucs. But Gronk, I think, is a solid in. Why not play with Tommy one more year, maybe 2?
Yeah, I just can't see Tommy looking him in the eye and going, "Come on, man, I need you." Him going, "Nah, I don't think it's
not feeling it.
Yeah, I'm just not feeling it. I think I'm gonna go wrestle. No, no way.
The wrestling, and it was one of his healthiest seasons, even though he got hurt. But the past 2 years were 2 of his healthiest seasons in his career. He's usually missed a lot more games, so why not end on one more high note? Come back, and maybe try to miss no games again, and then call it. Go to wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, he had those broken ribs and the punctured lung, but you know, I know that sucked for him, but still, it's Brady. When Brady, when he blows the horn, Gronk comes home, comes running. We know that's how it kind of works. So you also got rookie minicamp coming up. I know you'll be out there tomorrow.
Yes.
A couple of days. What are you looking for? Anything? I mean, for me, these are kind of these guys are just out there to find out where the bathroom is in the mess hall and how they run through their drills. It's not. But you're going to see some of the athleticism of the guys you drafted, right? Is that what you're looking for?
Absolutely. I kind of want to see, especially some guys snuck up on me. So I want to see if they match the hype or the excitement that's started to revolve around them. I don't know if I said it on the last time I was on the show, or if I said it only on Pewter, but 2 glass eaters that the Bucs have now adopted. I want to see what that's all about. I want to see some grit. I want to see some real hand in the dirt football from those 2 guys. And John always gives me crap because I'm so adamant about a pro style tight end. When I first started watching football, that's what a tight end was. He could block. He only went out for a few catches. He was that hefty guy that was right in between a wide receiver and an lineman. He had that true form. And then these hybrid tight ends came out of nowhere and freaked me out. So now we've got this Keith guy that I'm just psyched to see. How strong is he? How much of a glass eater is he really? So I want to see the athleticism. I want to see, I'm more of a big picture kind of gal. So I do want to see, hey, how is this guy going to develop in this system? What's he going to learn from a Cameron Brate, or what's he going to learn from the other O-linemen that have been there? It's great that Jensen's back. So they have great veterans to learn from. I just want to see what their football IQ is and how they're receptive to the coaches teaching them things, because that'll tell me how they'll learn from the players above them. So I'm really psyched to see a handful of guys tomorrow. Yeah,
I see Zion McCollum. He's got 4.338 speed, 6'2" long guy, long corner. He's got all the tools in the world. So, but again, it's going to be underwear football. They're not going to be doing much, but at least you can kind of get a feel for who they are. And they're going to let them speak to the media too, so you can get kind of a feel for who they are as people, right?
Yeah, and after he drafted, he's so personable. We noticed the theme of they were drafting for more character versus anything else, and I respect that after the drama they went through for no apparent reason. So, he was so well-spoken. You can tell that he's got a solid football IQ. You can tell he's just passionate about the sport. You can see his leadership qualities quick and early. And while a good amount of people are reducing him to a special teams guy, I think if anyone's going to sneak through the pack and kind of find a role on this team, it's going to be him.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you always get down to your 8th and 9th corner at some point in the year anyway. Guys are always
week 11, depleted.
Yeah, it's always that corner position and wide receiver position always seem to be that way. You're bringing somebody in off the street, and they got to play. So I think this at some point he will have a role. All right, Kasey, tell everybody how they can find you and your content.
All of my stuff is at The Sports Case. TheSportsKase. I know it's a mouthful, but it's a little play on words there. Instagram, Twitter, everything is at The Sports Case. My company is at The Sports Case LLC, and that is where I cover the Bolts so proudly. And then you can find me over at the Pewter Report for all things Buccaneers.
Awesome. Great stuff, Kasey. Have a great weekend. Enjoy Game 7. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
All right. The great Kasey Hudson there. Man, when you're talking about a Lightning team that has won 2 cups in a row, we're playing for a Game 7. Tom Brady is quarterback in your football team. Your baseball team has Toronto this weekend. Shane McClanahan at the game last night, buzzing off the Tesla coils. It's good to see the whole Tampa Bay family together doing our thing.
I know.
Maybe we'll even get Brady to a hocky game.
Oh, here you
Maybe
go.
If we get to the Stanley Cup final, he'll grace us with his presence and maybe come pop the Tesla coil.
Here you go.
Well, I'm kind of, I'm ribbing him. I'm come on, man. We want to see you out in Tampa Bay. He's out in Miami at the F1.
Listen, he's going to do his part. If the Lightning win tomorrow and Boston win tomorrow, he's going to do his part. He's going to do his part. He's going to play his part. He's going to back this team over that team that he backed for 20 years, and they're all going to be crying about it. Yes, he will. He might not be at the game, but he's going to have a pre-recorded.
I want him at the game
video.
in a Lightning jersey saying, F the Bees. Is that too much to ask?
JP, let me tell you this.
That's too much to ask?
We're still waiting for the press conference, and you think he's coming to a Lightning game? You think he's coming to a Lightning game with a sea of reporters sitting up in the press box that are just ready to nip at him?
There's not going to be any reporters around. We'll give him his own private box. All he has to do is we'll sneak Greg Wolf in there, and we'll put a Lightning jersey on him, and all he has to do is say, be the Thunder. That's not so much to ask, I don't think. We get Gronk next to him. He could come with all his boys, Jensen and Gronk, and get it. Mike Evans. Get everybody in there. We'll give him We'll give the whole dang group a luxury box, maybe 2. It just has to say, just put on a Lightning jersey and say, be the Thunder. It's not too much to ask. I'm sorry. Bring that golden lucky horseshoe you got up your butt and get your ass in the.
Listen, Mr. Tampa Bay was in attendance last night. We already had what we needed last night.
You mean Titus O'Neil?
Not Titus.
Oh,
not
dude.
Titus.
Titus gave the best freaking let's freaking go. I want to hear him just say
not Titus. Mr. Tampa Bay was in town last night and in the building.
Who are you talking about?
My friend.
Who?
Mr. Kiermaier.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Kiermaier was in the building and brought good omens with him.
Well, he's not Mr. Tampa Bay.
Mr. Tampa Bay. He's like the longest tenured. Oh, no, not really. There's more Lightning, longer tenured ones.
Yeah, Stamkos is longer
whatever.
tenured.
He's the most longer tenured Ray.
Yeah,
we had lots
question.
of Rays in the building.
Yeah,
yesterday.
we did. We were feeling the love.
We were feeling
Glasnow
the
was
love.
there.
Harold was there. I saw.
Yeah, a lot of Bucs too. Trask was in the Chase Club last night. Tryon's a big boy.
He's putting on weight.
Yeah,
well, that's good to see.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's a big man. Couple rookies. I didn't recognize one wearing a Vasilevsky. I think it might have been Logan. I think it might have been, but I don't know. I'll get to know him this weekend, hopefully. Yeah, so we had a lot of Bucs in the building last night. For some reason, everybody was messing with Trask. I don't know why. They were just like, come on,
fans?
Man. Yeah, like at the bar, and they're like, come on, man, you got to compete for that job. He's like, I want to compete for the job, like whatever. But all of Tampa Bay was there last night, and we just got to get through this series. I'm not ready for this to be over. I'm just not ready for this to be over.
Could you imagine if we had to come here today with no more Lightning? Oh my gosh.
We might not have had a show. I'll just be honest with you.
Yeah,
we may have had a best of this morning. No, we wouldn't do that, folks. We're not that cheese ball. We're not quitters. We're not quitters, as far as you know. No, I cannot imagine. But we were damn close. A couple of those shots in overtime, I thought were in. Toronto shots. I really did.
Yeah. I told you, by the way, before, I don't think I said on the show yet, but the TNT, for whatever reason, I was living on a different planet and forgot the Bally game.
Yeah.
And I was watching the TBS broadcast for the first 3 periods. So it means every intermission, I'm listening to Paul Bissonnette, who's like the biggest Toronto homer I think I've ever seen in my life. I mean, there's bias is one thing. This was straight homerism last night during the intermission. And he's like, the Leafs got hosed. They got hosed, and Kerfoot, he's scoring the goal in overtime. He's scoring the goal in overtime because he deserves it because he got hosed. And he said that flat out.
Kerfoot give a turnover to led to Palat's goal. Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I say Kerfoot because if you recall, that was the first big save Vasilevsky made.
Yes.
Tavares sent him in.
Yes.
I saw 15, and I'm like, oh, shit, Bissonnette's going to get this correct. And we're going to have to hear it. And Vasilevsky said, nope.
This is what I feared when NHL left NBC and went to ESPN and TBS. What are we going to get for announcers? I really liked the NBC team, didn't you? I mean, with Doc Emmerich, the whole team. No. Well, Milbury. I mean, okay, all right. There were a couple guys.
No,
but
I think
this is a disaster.
No, I think
so
the
with
TBS
ESPN, come on.
With ESPN's whatever. I thought the TBS TNT is actually really good, and I actually enjoy Bissonnette because he brings some he's with Barstool and Spit and Chicklets, so he's actually a funny dude. But he just had so much Toronto homerism in him yesterday. I couldn't handle it. But for the most part, I think they do a great job on TBS.
I like, where's Melrose? Where's Steve Levy? I mean, I see him. I'm at the game, so I'm not watching a lot of the TV coverage, but I think they put Levy in the studio, right?
He's in the studio with PK Subban, Chris Chelios, Messier, all those guys.
Yeah, those guys are good. I enjoy those guys.
Yeah, I enjoy that. Linda Cohn, love her.
Yeah. If Leah Hextall calls our games in the next round, though, because Bally's is done after the first round, right?
Yes.
I was texting with Dave Randorf. We're trying to get him on the show, and it's just his schedule while he's calling games is just too much in the morning because the morning skates are all, obviously he's busy during our time. But once they're done, he's going to join us, and I'm like, I can't wait to have you on the show. But man, I'm going to miss you guys doing the games. I don't know, man. The NHL needs to find a way. You go through 80, 90 games with your announcers. They're like freaking family, and then suddenly, you're with these strangers in the most important time of your life. I mean, come on. I think I'm gonna have I need to research this. There is an app where you can time up like the radio call with the TV. So I'm gonna see if I can find that out because I don't want to miss my homers, and I would love to hear Michigan and Phil doing the games too.
Oh, Phil's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, he's the best.
I would pay to listen to him.
Yes, absolutely. So I got to figure out a way to do that. And then I'll pass it on to you guys because we're interested in that. All right, quick break. When we come back, Brian Bradley's going to join us, and we'll get his take on last night's affairs. I watched a lot of the game with him, man. We were having a good time, but it was life on the edge, no doubt. So we'll talk with the great Brian Bradley next. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com. The health professional. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo and also Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Christopher Lugo and his medical team will get you right if you're looking for a new primary care physician. They are taking new patients, and if you want to get back in shape, if you're feeling a little down and maybe getting old, you want to get that testosterone level back to where it needs to be. They are experts in testosterone replacement therapy. So check them out at BAMMC.com. And we want to welcome in a man who certainly has all his testosterone at the highest level. He is the great Brian Bradley, former Lightning All-Star. What's up, brother? How are you?
Wow, what a win last night. The Bulls come back in the third period with a huge comeback win. Crazy game.
Man, what are your emotions like? How many games did you play in games sevens or in elimination games? I'm sure you have. What is that? What is that like, bro? I mean, every trip down the ice could be your last.
This depends on which one you're in. I've been in games before where we played in Calgary, where we won game 7 back in Calgary, lost game 6. But then I've also been in a game 7 win, but I've also been on the other side where back in 1989-90, we played Calgary, who ended up winning the Stanley Cup. And I was with Vancouver, and we played and lost in game 7 in double overtime. Not even single overtime. It's depressing at that point. It was in their building, so they were going crazy. We were like, what's going on? And, so it's an emotional game. I don't know if I think it's more an advantage for the road team. So I like our chances. You know what? I said, if we can come back in the third and win, we'll win game 7. I really feel good about the team. I mean, we can talk about it, but, they played a really good game, except for 30 seconds at the end of the second.
Yeah.
I mean, they let them score 2 goals there, and
Tavares,
Tavares had 2 goals. That can't happen. I mean, maybe one to tie, but then give them up another one with 7 seconds to go. I mean, you know what? You just got to give the Lightning a lot of credit. A lot of teams would have maybe folded or not given what they had, but then you had the 2 guys that we talked about. Vazzy made some big saves even in overtime, but Kucherov scores from point on a power play, and I think Stamkos, and then in overtime, Braden Point. I mean, you know what? They're all talking about his playoff numbers. He had 5 games, a goal and assist, but he's been unbelievable, just forechecking and doing all that kind of stuff. Him and Cirelli. We'll talk about him in a second, but Braden Point, you can't say enough. He's a gamer. He's a big-time playoff performer. I mean, you know what? That was a great goal. It was a gritty goal going to the net, and you know what? He just battles hard. I mean, he's on Matthews and Marner, so he's kind of in that check-in mode with Cirelli, and can't say enough about him. Braden Point, I love him, the way he plays. He just is in your face all game long, uses his speed, battles. You watch him in the corners battling the big guys. He comes out with the puck 90% of the time. But, I will say this, Anthony Cirelli's played really well. And, man, I'm going to tell you right now, that was one hell of a goal he scored, short-handed, and a backhand, the spinorama, or the backhand where he spins around and shoots it in the neck. I mean, the crowd went absolutely ballistic when he scored. When he scored that goal, I said, there's no way we're going to lose this game. That is absolutely one of the best goals I've seen in the playoffs in a long time.
Yeah, it was, and plus it was a shorty, and we could talk about the special teams here. We talk about Cirelli and Point and Killorn. That line was tremendous last night. It has been all series because they've been out there against Matthews and Marner. And I know Matthews has 4 goals, but it kind of seems like the Lightning have kept them in check for the most part, if that's possible. And then they get, if they get a 4-on-4, they get a shorty last night, and they get a power play goal, and they stayed out of the box. They only gave up one. They were 0 for 1, or 1 for 1, I should say, on the penalty kill. So special teams was huge last night, and Cirelli and Point are such a big part of that.
Yeah, no question about it. So I thought Point, I thought the whole team, I thought that, Korn had a great game. I thought Platt played exceptionally well too. He worked hard, and Hagel, Point, and Ross Colton. Hagel,
Paul.
That whole
Paul,
line,
Hagel,
Nick
Paul,
Paul,
and
they were
Colton,
outstanding.
Yep.
I actually thought they were going to score. They had some really good looks. Ross Colton was flying. They were bumping. They were botting. Hagel was there. Nick Paul was a big guy that can skate. I love the way he plays, but. At the end of the day, we talked about it in the pregame show when I did it with Eric Earlson. We talked about how some of the big players have to step up tonight. Yeah. I mean, you know what? And they did. I mean, like Kucherov with, let's talk about Kucherov first. I mean,
Yeah.
the huge goal. We get a power play, then Toronto takes another penalty for high sticking. We capitalize on the 5-on-3, but if we don't score that goal, we're pretty well toast at that point. And then, Braden Point with the winner. But I mean, I thought it was a team effort. Vazzy was solid. He made some saves on Kerfoot in overtime where he made some big saves, but we're going back to Toronto for Game 7. We won the third period. It was a gutsy Lightning effort, and, I can't say enough about the team. They were unbelievable. It was a great game. If you were in that building watching, it was unbelievable.
Brian Bradley joining us here. Brad, I think a lot of people might be looking at this series and looking at that game and saying, because I thought the Lightning were going to blow them out. And they, they were on the verge of doing it again, but just, they let up those 2 goals. I can't decide who the better team is in this series. Part of the time I think it's a Lightning, and then I kind of feel like the Toronto tilts the ice their way, and it's hard for us to get it back. So to me, it's just a really, really even series. And I think a lot of Lightning fans were down in the dumps when we were down 3-2. I got a lot of texts from people like, we're done. I'm like, come on now. I mean, nobody bounces back like the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're the champions for a reason. And it's kind of a toss-up in Game 7, but I'd love to get your take on where the pressure lies. Because I asked Pointer this last night, and I know he's not going to admit it in public, but I said, you guys are going up there with 2 cups in your pocket already. You're playing with house money. These guys are going to be choking bastards. I didn't say it that way, but they can't close anybody out. Well. I mean, that's got to be your mindset, right? Let's go in there, play free. We got nothing to lose. We got 2 cups. Let's go kick their ass in Game 7 right in front of their own fans, right?
Yeah, you know what? When you play a Game 7, JP, and the playoffs are, I mean, whether it's basketball, baseball, or hockey, I mean, it's the home team has the pressure. They're there. The pressure's on them. They're supposed to win. They were maybe not favored in the series, but remember, they were the 2 seed. We were the 3 seed.
Right.
So that's why they have the home ice advantage. So the pressure's on Toronto, and now we look at their records again: 0-7, and now 0-8 since 2018, trying to close the series out. And they cannot close the series. They can get to Game 3 and win, but they just can't get that Game 4 win. And you know what? In Game 5s, since 2018 or Game 7s, they're 0-5. So that's even worse.
Wow. Yeah.
That means that in Game 7s, they do not play well. I mean, they have not notoriously played well. I mean, the pressure's on them because the media, the press, everybody's going to be watching them saying, no, here we go again. Here we go again. Can they do it? The fans are going to try and rally around them. But as soon as it starts to go south in Game 7, the ship is coming in, the Titanic's coming in, and they're going down. So I got a feeling we're going to come out strong. And you know what? I mean, I can't say enough. I mean, after giving up 2 goals in the last 30 seconds, I mean, man, what a gutsy, great effort in the third period to come back and then go to overtime and win it. I mean, I can't say enough. And then, you know what? It doesn't happen with Stamkos. I thought Stamkos played well. Hedman was a beast. Love when he goes up the ice. But you know what? Just if you're not a 2-time defending Stanley Cup champion after what happens in the second period, you do not win the third period in overtime, because most teams would not have been able to come back. But we knew what it takes to win. We've been there. We did it. We've had our good times. We've had some bad times. But at the end of the day, it's tough to put these guys away. And you know what? Toronto knows it. They're not going to go down easy. And you know what? Game 7, and you know what? If I wanted to play Game 7, I'd want to play it on the road. I think this is exactly what we want to do. Play a Game 7 on the road. Let them feel the pressure. Like I said, we can get up 1 or 2 goals and take this heat. They're going to have to open up and make some mistakes. And you know what? They're notorious for more or less choking in Game 7,
they are.
guys.
Yes, they are.
It's a proven fact. Stats tell it.
Numbers don't lie, baby.
Hey, Brian, beyond the Stars, I thought Cal Foote played maybe his best game of the series last night. I mean, I almost would say maybe he grew up a little bit last night. It seemed like he was out there in the biggest moments. You saw the same thing?
Yeah, you know what? I agree 100%. I mean, I thought Cal Foote has played the last 2 games excellent. I mean, he's been physical. He's moved the puck well, great composure, making smart plays. I mean, you know what? This is the guy that they've been hoping to get. I don't know if the light went on or whatever, but love the way he's played. And then, you know, using his feet and his size. And you know what? He's played outstanding. You know, even Chernak, Sergachev. I mean, Ryan McDonough. You count those guys all the time. But I tell you, I agree with you. Calfoot in the last probably 2 to maybe 3 games has been outstanding for the Lightning. And you know what? He's one of those guys now you maybe can play him more.
Yeah.
He's played so well. I like the way I don't think John Cooper's had any problem with putting him on the ice in case something happens, because he's been rock solid back there. And you know what? It's great to see a young kid kind of get to that next level and turn the page. You know what I mean? So happy for him.
Yeah. Yeah. And Brian Bradley joining us here. Brad's Kucherov last night, I think he had 6 shots, which would suggest that he was really involved offensively, defensively. And as I watched him out there, he seemed really indifferent. And I know they didn't play him a lot in that overtime period. What are your thoughts on what you're seeing from Kucherov and Sergachev for that matter?
Well, I mean, Sergachev's a veteran guy. He's been around. I mean, he makes some good plays, but then he can make some bad plays. But, they got their games going, and, they'll get better. I mean, there's nothing wrong with their plan. He's a top 4 guy, and everybody likes that Sergachev. I mean, Kucherov, he's got 8 points in the 6 playoff games, but you got to remember, guys are getting tired. They play a lot, in the third period just to get to overtime where you're having power plays and stuff. So you can't sit there and burn a guy right out, and you can't even go in overtime. So this is where the coach has to be smart. And, I like the way John Cooper, coaches. Yep. He's a player's coach, but this is where coaching comes into a factor. You have to see how many minutes guys are playing at certain times, or even a better thing. You know what? When you're a coach, there's certain times, like even Game 7, when we're going to talk about, or play tomorrow. This is where John Cooper and the coaching staff got to be, looking at everything, because what I'm saying is, in a Game 7 tomorrow, you're going to have 1 or 2 or 3 guys, maybe one line, or maybe a certain player that's going to have more jump. He's going to be flying. So that's a guy you're looking at to maybe give him the team a spark, maybe give him an extra shift, or give that line a little more time. So you're going to see in Game 7, some guys are going to have the juice and some guys are not going to have the juice. And you got to know which guys got the juice in Game 7 and maybe give them a little more ice time, because that's the way it's going to be. You think you can go every game and go hard and do that, but it doesn't work that way. We're going to see in the Lightning play. Maybe it's Kucherov's line. Maybe it's, Ross Colton's line. Maybe it's Point's line. Maybe, Corey Perry. He's been a Lightning killer his whole life. So maybe he's the guy. But there's going to be certain guys that are going to be really jumping tomorrow night. And the coach has to see which line, which players are really going, and give them a little more shift to get the team going in terms of that stuff.
All right, Brads, I know you're going up. You played in Toronto, and you're going up there for the game. So, first of all, did the press up there ever get you in the corner and go, all right, what do you think here, Brad, as a former Toronto Maple Leaf?
Well, they'd like to, but they know my loyalty. I mean, I hate Toronto. I'm not even gonna go around the point right now. I mean, I played in Calgary, loved it. I played in Vancouver, great city. Played in Toronto, hated it. And no one I'd rather beat them more than the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is almost like, to me, it's like a Stanley Cup. I will be so excited if they beat the Leafs. It'll be like unbelievable. I'll be having a few cold beers, I can tell you, in downtown Toronto after that game tomorrow, because I know it's happening.
And what a game! What a day we have tomorrow. I mean, what's your day going to be like? You got Carolina in Boston at 4. Then the Lightning at 7. You're going to be there. Then you're staying overnight, I guess. So you get to watch the Edmonton game. And boy, Connor McDavid looked very, very intimidating last night. This is going to be a hell of a hockey day for you, my friend. Everybody wants to be Brian Bradley.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a great day. I mean, I'm going to watch some of the Boston game, Carolina. I mean, there's going to be upsets. There is 100%. The home team will not win every game. That is going to be 100%. I guarantee you that. So you know what? I say Carolina. This is my prediction. I say Carolina wins at home. They're very tough. I say Tampa wins in Toronto.
Yep.
And I say Edmonton wins at home. So I say we are the only team to win on the road tomorrow.
That's what I
tweeted
my prediction. That out last night.
I take Carolina, Tampa, and the Edmonton Oilers to win. So you know what? I like it. And, go from there. And you know what? See what happens. Maybe the Panthers win tonight, or they go to Game 7 against the Capitals.
Yeah. I tweeted that out last night, the exact same prediction. So we're on the same page on that one. All right, my friend, have fun up there. And just remind all those Leafs players when you see them that it's going to get kind of tight. When the crowd gets going, it's going to choke all over it. So I cannot wait.
Yeah, it should be a good one. I can't wait for Game 7 tomorrow. They're so much fun to watch. even on TV. It's going to be a great day.
All right. Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it. Have a safe trip, my friend. We'll chat with you when you get back.
Go Bolts. See you guys next week at Amley.
Go Bolts. Well, we'll probably talk to Brad's on Monday when he talk about this Game 7 win, this comeback on Toronto. Then the Rays will sweep the Blue Jays here this weekend.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we get the Blue Jays. A lot of the Blue Jays were in the house last night too.
They were, huh?
Yeah, they were already here. So some Blue Jays were in the house hoping to celebrate their little Toronto win in the series.
There's no way those two teams play in the same city.
Yeah.
Like, you ever think about that? There's certain like fan bases of teams, and you go, wait, those are the same fans?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that. I don't know why. I don't know. I just feel like Toronto's just like this so like mellow team, I guess. It just seems like
Blue
it
Jays?
just feels like it's no pressure to play baseball in Toronto.
Don't you remember when they were winning World Series with Joe Carter and that gang? And
JP, I wasn't born yet.
You weren't born yet, were you?
No, I don't know how it felt.
You don't remember that at all.
I
crazy.
I know it. I've seen the videos.
Yeah, it was crazy. They love their baseball up there.
I know, but I feel like it's still no pressure to play baseball in Toronto.
Oh no,
like
not compared to hockey. Oh God,
when it comes to hockey, these fans are like.
I never heard that from Bradley that he hated playing in Toronto.
I don't know. I looked it up. I just looked up his little hockey card while we were talking to him after he said that. Yeah. It looks like Toronto kind of just kicked him to the curb. Yeah. And the Lightning picked him up and he scored 40 in his first year. So.
Yeah. Not like anybody in Toronto has figured out how to win a Stanley Cup since 1967.
Which
a long time.
I got to refer everybody to a video. Are you familiar with the YouTuber Urinating Tree?
No. Why?
The best. First of all, it's the best channel on YouTube.
Urinating Tree.
He does deep dives on like the worst situations in sports history all the time.
Oh,
I watched this last night after the game. 40-minute video of what has gone wrong for the Maple Leafs since 1967.
Really?
40-minute video of everything that's gone wrong.
Oh, I'm gonna look. Can we repost
very
that?
Fascinating.
You got the link?
I'll get the link up for everybody.
Yeah, we'll get the link. Oh yeah,
because you could see they kicked guys like Brian Bradley to the curb. And they brought in the same year, I think, Wendell Clark, who was like their guy in the 80s.
Yeah.
And they kept just bringing back all the old guard to try to keep staying in the playoffs. And they just go home, first round exit every year.
So, I'll definitely want to read
it's
that.
Really cool. It's really fascinating.
Urinating Tree. I was in an elevator last night with some guy who's a YouTuber. Who's like was getting the VIP treatment. He had like security with him. And
he's a YouTuber?
He's a YouTuber. And it's a really hot chick with him. And they were Maple Leaf fans. They had Maple Leaf jerseys on.
Was it Justin Bieber? Are we sure it wasn't?
It wasn't the Biebs.
It
wasn't the Biebs. It definitely wasn't the Biebs. But it was just some young guy. And in the elevator, he's a YouTuber. I'm like, I don't know him, but he's going home with an L.
I wonder if Drake's going to be in attendance tomorrow, because he was posting some memes after Game 5.
Was he now
against?
Really?
He said like goodbye or good night, Tampa. Or something like that.
Not so fast, Drake.
So, which I've heard from all these people that keep going to Toronto, it's nothing but Drake playing at the arena.
Is it? But and Drake's on a losing streak though, isn't he? Since the Raptors
he
won,
has the curse, doesn't he?
Like there's like some curse
the
going.
Drake
Yeah,
curse. Every time he wears your team's jersey, you just lost.
Yeah. We got to get the lowdown on that.
But I thought
because I've seen Toronto fans like, Bieber and Drake stay away because every time they get involved, they lose.
Well, Bieber, him and Austin Matthews are like best friends.
Yeah.
They're tight.
He's been, and they have the Bieber jersey.
The
I
Bieber
guess they
jersey.
were the Biebs jersey, which I think was bringing them luck in some way. But then a lot of people tweeted out that on game, what was it? What game was it? Anyway, he took a picture with the cup and posted a picture of a cup with him and his mom with the cup when he was like 15 years old. Oh. And I think it was for Game 4, and they got blown out. So it's like, thanks. I'm like, thanks, Biebs.
So I need him to do something stupid.
We need Biebs and Drake in the house.
Yeah, I need them both in the house.
Take their L's.
I need guarantees from both of them that they're winning Game 7.
Yes, all of it. All of that. That'll bring so much negativity and karma.
And I need the Rays tonight to get on a good footing. Let's win this game against Toronto tonight. Let's exert our dominance.
Big Red's on the hill.
Big Red is on. That's what we're gonna call him now. Big Red.
So somebody else had a uncle. What do they call him? Uncle something?
Drew.
Uncle
Kiermaier said he's Uncle Drew.
Uncle Drew. I like Big Red better.
I like Big Red better too.
Yeah, but isn't that the name of that movie? The communist China Disney grooming movie.
I have no idea.
Trying to groom kids.
I have no idea. I'm not talking about it. I'm not getting into it.
My kid, I do this all the time with my kids. They shut up, Dad. I was like, see, there goes Disney again. Look at that movie. It's a panda bear. It's big red, right? Who comes to the rescue when you're being bullied by, the bad boogeyman white guy. Here comes a big red panda that's going to save you. Oh, that's not a message from China. Come on. Yes, I've gone off the deep end. Now you press. You see how he presses the bumper when we go? I'm kidding, folks. I'm kidding. There's a little bit of coincidence, though, isn't it? All right, we'll take a break, and we'll come back. We'll hear from John Cooper and some of the boys. Interesting press conferences last night. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new, healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucs, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you, and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. And our second hour brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. If you want to get your health right in a modern way, not the old Western medicine way, this is the place to go. Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Testosterone replacement therapy is something that they are expert in. So if you're feeling kind of run down, guys, if your workouts aren't giving you what they used to give you, it's probably because your testosterone levels are low. And it's nothing that you've done. It's just the environment that we live in. Testosterone numbers have dropped by 1%, I think, over the last 15 to 20 years for American men. So it's no joke. Get your testosterone checked. And if it's low, like mine was, they'll put you on a program where you get your blood work done every quarter. So they definitely monitor this. There's no abuse of the testosterone. And like you'll see at a lot of clinics, if they're not monitoring your blood work every quarter, they're not doing it the right way. You got to balance things out. They do it the right expert way. So also if you need to lose some weight, they have some great programs for that as well. Christopher Lugo works with the military. He's in the military and works to keep our top pilots in tip-top shape so he can do the same for you. Those techniques will come right to your plan as well. A personalized plan. They'll spend 45 minutes to an hour with you on your first visit to make sure they know everything about what you're doing and personalize your treatment. It's Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. So, Nikki, numbers, you got some numbers for me? I know you're dialing it up over there on the NHL analytics. By the way, moneypuck.com gives us a 43% chance of winning game 7. 43.1, and the Leafs 56.9%.
Probably accurate, to be honest. It's hard to win 2 in a row.
It's definitely in this series.
Yeah, somebody's gonna have to win 2 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least the Lightning have to, rather. But just there's some numbers here from last night, because I know it kind of felt like Toronto was the better team for more parts of the game last night. Their fans feel like they got hosed. The good thing about analytics is they are free of bias, I guess you could say.
Yes.
And on the deserve to win a meter, which I love, based on 500 game simulations, they played this 500 times. The Lightning deserve to win 54.4% of the time. So the result last night from Money Puck matched up with what ended up happening. So take that information with what you will. That the Lightning deserved to win that game. And Nikita Kucherov, who you thought wasn't that great yesterday, I thought differently. Brad thought differently. Going by expected goals, which is, we talked about that earlier in the week, kind of measuring your effectiveness and, kind of your chances that you create. Nikita Kucherov was easily the best player on the ice for either team last night.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best player. Slight little drop off to Austin Matthews, and then a huge drop off to the rest of the players on the ice yesterday. So Nikita Kucherov was actually dominant based on these metrics.
Interesting. I'm looking at the Money Puck. They have the lines. Is this the one you were looking at the other day?
Yes.
And I don't see a whole lot of Lightning on this as far as their best lines. Am I looking at this correctly? Expected goals lines.
Yes.
Gensel, Crosby, and Russ, number 1. Marchand, Bergeron, Pasternak, number 2. Riley, McAvoy. The Bees have 2 of the top 3 lines. Riley, McAvoy, obviously defensive pair there. You go down, I'm still looking for Lightning. Giordano Hall is 26. The Bunting, Matthews, Marner line is 19th. Muzz and Brody is 33rd. Do you see any Lightning ones there? Oh, there's the McDonough Bogosian defensive pairing, the Hedman Chernak defensive pairing. I'm still looking for a Lightning offensive line here. What the hell happened?
Hagel, Paul Colton,
56th.
Yeah. So when we presented these numbers earlier, there was a caveat to it. The reason why there was not a lot of Toronto lines showing up and there were more Lightning lines is there was so much power play time in the first 4 or 5 games that it was measuring. Basically, it kind of took Toronto out of the equation because they didn't have much 5-on-5 time with their lines.
Right.
So that's why they didn't have much numbers on here. Yesterday's game, there was much more 5-on-5 play than there has been. So it looks like it kind of evened out more. And that's why you see, even with as maybe less minutes than other lines on 5v5, they were still very effective, especially the Matthews-Marner line.
Yeah. The top line for the Lightning, if I'm reading this correctly, is Palat, Stamkos, and Kucherov at 80.
No, Hagel, Paul Colton was at 56.
Okay.
Which is in line with what it was the other day. Yeah, Hagel, Paul Colton is still the best line the Lightning have had, and they're the line that played majority of the overtime, if you recall.
Right. But McDonough, Bogosian was a defensive pair, 41st. Hedman, Chernak, 42nd. But these are all analytics, and it's is what it is. The score's 3-3, and it's a game 7. So I don't know how much analytics plays into it. All right, let's listen into John Cooper after the game last night, meeting the assembled media.
You guys keep your composure after what happened at the end of the second period.
Eric Erlinson asking about keeping your composure after giving up those 2 quick goals.
Yeah, well, it's nice to have 18 minutes to take a breath. It was really unfortunate last minute. It's, I think I said it this morning, it's details of the game, and they're hard to stay on top of for 60 minutes, but they're vital in the game. And just a couple detail misses, and Toronto capitalized on them. But really good timing for the break, and then we got our breaks. When a team's going to go down 5-on-3 in the third period, they got to earn their penalties, and they earned them both, and we took advantage.
Can you describe what it's like for you on the bench in overtime, seeing both teams back and forth on the ice?
Yeah. May not look like it all the time, but the heart rate gets elevated. But to be honest, it's probably easier for me than everybody sitting in the stands behind me. Just because you're so engaged in the game and who's up next and what matchups, and you're coaching the game. It's basically what you're doing. So you don't have a ton of time to hold your breath. But there was a couple times both ways, that was heart skips a beat, but it's exciting time. And like I said, I'm into the game, so it's hard to get caught up in it.
At that point, Cirelli, Killorn line did so much of the dirty work tonight. Does it feel like kind of like hockey justice? That point was able to get that goal. It's the way they went. Yeah,
they got rewarded for a ton of work. I know, Pointer was not happy with the 1 goal Matthews scored, and he missed a stick there. But big players show up at big moments, and Pointer was obviously the man tonight to finish that off for us, like he's done so many times. And but again, as you said, when those guys, they were earning something like that to happen to them, and it did.
Hagel picks up the puck in the middle of the ice, skates in. How nice is it for the new guy to come in and be a part?
Well, it was a great play. We were just kind of in the middle of a change, so he's fresh. I think Matthews blew a tire, but it was great play by Hags. He comes up with speed, but he still has to put that puck through somebody to get it to Killer, and then we just, instincts took over after that. So, but great for Hags. He had a great playoffs for us.
You're not typically one who gets caught up in matchups, but this series has been a little bit different for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
How has that been on the bench for the guys? Everything else, to try and make sure you're getting your matchups right in this series.
Well, everybody's aware. Playoffs are a different beast. And this has been a bit of a matchup series. So we'll have to figure something out when we go up for game 7. But, we're pretty comfortable with, who's going out there in the end. There was many times today that other lines were caught out versus lines you wanted to have matches, and that's going to happen. And it's going to happen a lot in game 7. So you shouldn't have to, we're not too worried if there's a missed matchup, but if we can control what we can, we'll do it. And we'll just have to see.
talked about players.
Big part of Game 7.
See Sorelli get that short-handed goal there.
Yeah, again, these players that show up at the big moments, that's a heck of a play by him. And, it's come down to, I've said it all series, it's come down to special teams. And you look tonight, we score the 4-on-4 goal, power play goal, shorthanded goal, and it's just been the tail of the series for both teams. And we just won that war tonight.
How important was it to stay out of the box tonight?
Well, there you go again. Team that's taken the least amount of penalties each game has won the game.
Great question.
The 5-3, you basically have a power play to save your season there. I mean, the confidence you have not only in your power play, but in a 5-3.
Yeah, I've watched them do it a ton. You're not going to score every single time, but clearly we needed it there. I mean, there's power plays during the year. You're like, oh, well, we didn't score. I saved momentum. That was one we needed, and Cooch delivered.
Yes, he did. Cooper short and sweet last night. Cooper, as he normally is. Let's cue up the Stamkos and Hedman. They were a little bit more, I think, descriptive on what went down last night. Glean a lot from Cooper right there, except just to say that they executed what they wanted to execute, and one of those things was obviously staying out of the box. That was a huge part of it. Last night's game had a little bit more flow to it. Would you agree with that? Yeah,
a lot more. Yeah, the parade to the penalty box, as he said, was getting very, very old for me. Yeah. I think would they go 16 minutes without calling something, and then they decided they wanted to put both in the box.
Well, we went in the first period we went 7 minutes without a whistle, or maybe longer, to start the game, which is awesome. Only sport that does that, by the way, where you just keep playing, And don't give me soccer, please. When you're laying on the ground convulsing over, getting breathed on, it doesn't count. Does not count. All right, let's get to Stamkos and Hetty last night, their post-game comments from the captains.
For either of you guys, how do you regroup after what happened in the final minute of the second? Like, how do you keep your composure for the third period of that situation?
No, for us, we knew that finish to that period wasn't good enough, and it came down to one period, elimination game, and show what they're about, and got a 5-3, and the boys did a great job, got us in that, and then. I think we kind of took off. I don't know how many shots we got, but 2 or 3 in the third. So, we rose from that, and then in overtime was a couple of chances each way, and we made that extra play to bring it to Game 7. So, strong leaders in that room. We addressed what needed to be addressed, and got out there and did the job.
Sam, you put into words the game winner there. It never gets old, does it?
No, I mean, no surprise. With Pointer, it's his time of the year. So it was a great play all around by those guys, Tony, Killer. You never know what shot's going to go in the net in overtime. So, obviously you want to defend hard. You don't want to give up much. It was a grind, and it was an elimination game, and both teams had some good chances. Obviously Vasi made some huge saves for us, some really timely saves, and gave us a chance there. And like I said the other night, when you get a 5-on-3, we score this time, right? So I'm a big believer in that. And, tightly checked game. Not a lot of penalties aside from the 5-on-3 there, the 2 high sticks that were called. So that's what playoff hockey feels like usually. So it was obviously a huge game for us.
Can you kind of describe just the emotions of being out there in that overtime period where both sides had opportunities to put this game away?
I mean, it's do or die for us anyway. So you just leave it all out there. We talk about, sacrificing. We talk about doing the right things out there. I mean, it's tough. Your body is going through a lot, especially in, an elimination game where, our backs are against the wall. Guys are trying to leave it all on the ice. So I thought we did that, and it wasn't pretty, but it was a win. It was what we needed to do coming into today, and we were confident with our group. Another fantastic start to the game. We just got to fix those lulls when we're up. So we'll address those, but obviously a big bounce back.
You're 17-0 after a loss in the playoffs. What does that say about the guys in your room?
No, I said, the character that we have, It's been back and forth the whole series. Now we got to win, coming off a win. So, it's best out of 1, it's best out of 7, best out of 5, best out of 3, now it's best out of 1. So, we just have the belief in our group that we can get the job done when it matters the most. And, bouncing back from losses, we've proven time and time again. That's what we do. So, I said it before, losing 2 in a row is never a good thing in the playoffs. So it speaks a lot about, the character that we have.
You drew the second high stick to get the 5-on-3. For you guys to be down a goal in the third period of an elimination game, what's the confidence level like on that power play in that situation?
No, we have full belief on the guys that are out there. World-class players, a prolonged 5-on-3. Like Stammer say, you have to score on those, and they did. So, they had some good looks. And, Coach made a great shot, great screen in front. I don't think their goalies saw the puck. So, credit to those guys. It was a huge goal for us, obviously, and it doesn't matter how they come as long as you get it done. So, big goal for us.
He's not apologizing for the 5-on-3 at all, is he? Nope.
No, and the way they said it, I think Stamkos said, we don't care how it gets done, just as long as it gets done. And remember, he called this team the Tampa Bay Findaways.
Yeah.
Earlier this year. I think that game last night really epitomized that. It was find a way.
It really did. And a lot of this series has been that way.
Yeah.
This has been such a weird, bizarre series. And, Eric Erlinson just tweeted this out. TNT panel consistently stating that Go Bolts were dominated in the OT and shocked Tampa Bay Lightning won. Yet shot attempts were 19-16 Toronto. Scoring chances were 8-8. High danger chances were 5-3 Tampa Bay. Expected goals, 0.82 Tampa Bay, 0.69 Toronto. Did it feel like that in the overtime to you at all?
I saw that this morning too from Eric, and I hadn't had a chance to really dive into that. And I was like, that's not what I saw.
No, well, I think because I think a lot of those high danger chances for the Lightning came in the last 2 minutes. Like the first, because I remember looking at the shots. Paul Kennedy mentioned it to me. We had 2 shots in the 2 shots in the overtime for the first
18. It was longer than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the shots Lily put was when Hedman didn't know what to do, and he literally just flipped it on goal.
Yeah.
And that was called a shot.
Right. So I guess these numbers are right.
Oh,
but it certainly
didn't put it out there. It's not right.
But it certainly didn't. No,
it did
of course
feel
not.
that way.
But it didn't feel that way at all. And I think that's because most of ours maybe came late.
Yeah. But I like to think I showed you when I was doing a little Twitter search here.
Through those numbers, Nicky
numbers.
numbers.
My gosh.
This is crazy. And I think this has to do with the bubble too, right? Because they played in Toronto.
I don't give a crap about the bubble. There's other years you could have done more with this. Since the salary cap era began, which I believe was 2000 and
right after the Bulls won their first,
so 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
In that time frame, the Lightning have won more playoff games in Toronto in the last 2 years than the Maple Leafs have in that entire era.
Oh my God.
Sink that one. And then reminder, this is the first time these two teams have faced each other in the playoffs. Just a reminder to everybody.
This has all the earmarks of another Toronto choke, does it not? Or setting up for their greatest victory ever. I guess you could look at it
either,
but I choose not to.
It's the way I look at it. It's like the Lightning, either you're going to continue history, or Toronto, you're going to end your narrative and kill your past history. I think it's the most simple way to put it. I mean, that's the beauty of it. But a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup playoffs, I always say there's nothing better than it. There's nothing better than a Game 7. It's one of those sports nobody fears going to a Game 7 in the NHL. Nobody fears it. Everybody gets just amped up for it, juiced up to play for it. If you're not ready to play a Game 7 in the NHL, then you shouldn't be out there.
Right. That's for damn sure. But that's amazing. It's Toronto's. They've got to. I wonder if they're making their players available to the media today.
They already have already.
They already have
already. Well, Austin Matthews immediately after the game yesterday said we got to put our balls on the line and go after it. So,
he's putting his testes out there, is he now?
Testes out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Throw the balls out there.
Interesting.
Sure. Be careful what you're putting on the line there, my friend. It might not turn out well for you. All right, let's take do we need to take one more break?
We don't have to if you don't want to. We still got other things to get into.
All right, well, let me tell you about the Golden Diamond Source then, shall I? Let's tell the folks about the Golden Diamond Source. They are killing it as they always do over there because they are bringing you the best prices. They do that because they do a lot of volume because a lot of you shop there. And you shop there because it's a great local company. They give you the best prices. They have you know what they have that you don't find anywhere else? Customer service. Customer service. Where do you find that anymore, right? Everybody's cut staff to the bone or can't find people to work. But at the Golden Diamond Stores, you walk in there, there's more people working there than there are. I mean, there's always a lot of people shopping in there, but there's a lot of people. That's my point. And they're there to help you, whether they're going to repair your watch, which I was in there the other day, and they were like, I was talking to some of the folks, and I'm like, hey, can you put a new battery in my watch here? They did that, put the battery in, cleaned it up, and they're like, no charge. You know, it's just that's the way they are. It's like it's a family jeweler. And you go in there and you chat with them, and they say, how about this? You know, what's your budget? What are you looking for? Blah, 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 blah. And they actually give you customer service. How about that idea? And you can always trust them too, because they've been around for decades. 0% financing for 5 years. So if you're looking for a ring and you're like, I don't have a whole lot of money, that's okay. 30, 40, 50 bucks a month will get you a magnificent ring. And but just go in there and see what they have for you. And it's the diamonds have been handpicked by Steve Weintraub, who's been in the business for decades. So much good stuff at the Golden Diamond Source. Check them out, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. I just saw this tweet, which was very interesting as we get to a couple other stories from Jordan Whitehead. Let me just get this exact quote. Feels good to feel free playing ball. Feels good to feel free playing ball. Now, what the hell does that mean? I don't get it. Like, is there some reason, that Todd Bowles' defense does not allow you to do things? I mean,
this guy's been running his mouth since the last game of the season, how it ended.
Yeah.
Either he needs to just go on somebody's podcast and spill it and stop being so cryptic about it.
Yeah, I hate the cryptic tweet.
I don't care for the cryptic.
You got a problem. Step up and
it comes off as sour grapes to me. Very bitter.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's upset the Bucs didn't give him the money the Jets did, but
probably, I guess.
Go chase the money. You already got a Super Bowl. That's fine. But I don't know how many players are leaving Tampa Bay in this regime and being upset about it. I can't find one.
Yeah.
Can't find one.
Seems like a him problem right there.
Then again, Brady can't stand the organization and he's trying to angle his way to Miami. So
that's right.
What am I talking about?
Yeah, but he's over there when he doesn't have to be, and Gronk's there. And there's so much hate on Tampa Bay. They hate us because they ain't us. Do you see? By the way, cue up I retweeted the mic'd up Brandon Hagel from last night on the game-winning goal. Let's play that sound. I'd be interested to hear what it sounded like on the ice for an overtime winner. I mean, that's just got to be like, and having a hand in it like he did. I mean, he doesn't have he's missed some opportunities, but let's give him props for the defense and the hustle. He's going into the corners. He's doing all that good stuff. Hopefully the goals will come, but this was a huge play. Mic'd up at the blue line, passes it in. Celebrating. Knocked the mic off. So that's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like. It's a lot of yeah, boys.
You know what's interesting to me is there's not more chatter on the ice. There's just it's just kind of quiet. He's going down the boards. Gets hit, feeds it in front. It's a hell of a play.
I think there's more chatter usually, but in that moment you have to be there. Those guys are just locked in on another stratosphere. But yeah, like I said in the opening, when you miss a big opportunity in the playoffs, like he did with the wide open net, where he basically shot it right over the net and crossed the crease, not even close. The puck finds you eventually. It finds you again. And Brandon Hagel in that moment, I think it was Matthews, I want to say that blew a tire out at center ice and wasn't able to contest whoever had passed it back up to Hagel. And he just had a full head of steam and was able to kind of shimmy his way there over the board. Very Yanni Gourde reminiscent, might I add. He's looking every single day closer and closer to what the Lightning probably want out of him, which is to play that Yanni Gourde role.
No doubt.
So good for him. Good for him. I hope he can get off the snide, though.
Yes, the Rays open up a 3-game series with Toronto. obviously a big series with them. It's a divisional series as we interesting that we'll be playing the Blue Jays as we play the Maple Leafs on Saturday as well. Had a nice snarky tweet last night. The Durham Bulls put out this thing where they were, I don't know whether they do a $2 beer, $2 hot dogs, discount beers, cheap tickets, all that stuff. And I tweeted out, hey, can we call up the Durham marketing staff to the big leagues so we can do that? And we had a little back and forth with our friend Chris Torello. I was going to invite him on the program here to come take me to task on.
We both should take you to task.
Yeah, I told him it'd be a 2-on-1 conversation because I tweeted out, I'm sorry, I can't. I love for everybody to go to the games when Shane McClanahan pitches out. That's fantastic. But until Stu steps up and commits to paying half for the new stadium, I can't ask everybody to go fill up their tank with $7 gas, roll across the Gulf of Mexico, and go to the trash dump.
Dramatic, very dramatic. Very dramatic. Blinded.
Put money in the pockets of an owner who's constantly trying to move the team and giving you the middle finger.
You're blinded by.
Sorry.
You're blinded by Stu. I go into the prop and I don't give him one iota of a thought at all, because I'm watching a damn good baseball team.
You are.
End of story. And Shane McClanahan, he should 5,000 people there to see him start because it's electric.
Give me a $5 ticket.
In fact,
ticket and I'll fill
tonight we have a damn good pitching matchup. Drew Rasmussen and Kevin Gausman, their big free agent signing, who's been awesome so far. The Gas Man. Vladdy Guerrero, Bo Bichette, Matt Chapman. The whole crew's going to be there.
God damn it. It's worth a $40 outfield ticket for that.
Come on. I got Tampa.
$15 beer.
I got Tampa freaking
$20 parking
through my veins right now.
Yeah.
I got pride.
Yeah.
After that we saw last night, let's go watch more Toronto.
Yeah. And then when it takes, $85 to fill up your tank. Yeah, I definitely want to go pay $40 after fees for a ticket for my $17 beer and my $11 hot dog. And jump right in there. Let's do it.
Hater.
Is the 4 for $44 special going on today?
Hater. Hater.
I love my Rays. You know what? The damn players would tell you the same damn thing I'm talking about, by the way. They would love to have fans in the stands.
No,
but they understand.
But it's a weekend. There's a weekend. They've had a long road trip where they just went 7-3, by the way.
Yeah.
Successful road trip. So the fans are going to be back in there for this weekend. I'm very excited for that. What time is the game Saturday? Do we have a day game? Please don't tell me they're playing at night.
God,
Same
I hope
time
not.
as the Lightning. Let me get that real quick.
I hope not.
Let me get that real quick right here. Oh, it's 6:10. That's not going to be that many people there. I wouldn't imagine. 6:10 on a Saturday, an hour before the Lightning. No.
Yeah.
No.
What time is it?
6:10.
6:10.
By the way, last few minutes of the show here, we did have NBA last night.
We did.
And I just wanted to put this point home that the Philadelphia 76ers are nothing but failures. They are nothing but.
How's the process going?
That's what I was going to say. They are nothing but just choreographed lines to put on a T-shirt. That's all they are. This whole trust the process is a failure. They're a failure.
When you take Markelle Fultz instead of Jason Tatum, trust the process.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? They traded Ben Simmons for James Harden. Just so they could have, first of all, probably just so they could have a body to put on the court.
Right.
Because Ben Simmons couldn't even play. But also to have somebody who would shoot. How many times did James Harden shoot yesterday in the second half?
2. 0 for 2. 0 for 2.
2 times.
0 for 2.
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, that's karma. That's what that is.
I don't know how you watch. I don't know how you watch that stuff. I mean, I watch the Warriors. I want to see the Warriors and the Grizz go at it. Is that series over now?
No, we got 10 o'clock tonight. Game 6, I believe, is Golden State and Memphis. And then 7:30 is Milwaukee and Boston, which has probably been the best series, I think, so far.
That's been so good. So good.
But I think Boston's up 3-1, right?
Yeah, Memphis, Golden State, 10 o'clock tonight.
3-2.
And then, Boston and Milwaukee's at 7:30 on ESPN. So if you're in for that, I'll probably be watching. Oh, I'm going to Miranda Lambert tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In Little Big Town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. Miranda Lambert puts on one hell of a show.
She's
one hell of a show.
I always say she's a badass woman.
She is a badass woman. Damn straight. And she puts on a hell of a concert. Looking forward to that. Got some sweet tickets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
You'll catch me at home at my my desk writing tonight. So
good for you.
There you go.
Good for me.
Somebody's got to work, right?
Somebody's got to work, but it won't be me tonight. And then tomorrow is just the greatest day of hockey ever. Cannot wait for that. 3 game 7s, and then we got baseball all weekend with the Rays and the Blue Jays. So yeah, it's a pretty good weekend. Bucs minicamp. Bucs minicamp starts today, runs today and tomorrow, but it's a lot of underwear stuff, you know. So anyway, our thanks to Brian Bradley, who joined us today, Kasey Hudson as well. If you missed any of those interviews, you can always catch it on our podcast. Fanstreamsports.com is the website. You can get it there. You can also go to Apple or Spotify, get any of our shows, our live shows show up as a podcast, so you can listen to us anytime. Have a great weekend, everybody. Go Bolts. We got a Armature Works big old watch party we will be at tomorrow night, and go Rays all weekend long. Have a great weekend.